Our customers tell the story.
Peter C. says, "This is the first thank you I have ever written to a company. Your ring relief product has greatly reduced my tinnitus. Thank you for the good night's sleep."
James H. wrote, "This is the first time I've been free of ear ringing in over a year."
These are unsolicited testimonials from our customers. No gimmicks. If you suffer from tinnitus, join the thousands who found relief with all-natural ring relief.
Ring Relief is available at Kroger, CVS, Rite Aid, Walgreens, and Walmart. Or go to ringrelief.com for Ring Relief eardrops.
There are no guarantees in love, but there is a guarantee from EH Plus by eHarmony, our new personal matchmaking service. At EH Plus, your own personal matchmaker gets to know you so well, we can guarantee introductions that will be satisfying and exciting. EH Plus goes far beyond regular online dating sites, and that's a guarantee. Visit us at ehplus.com/love or call 1-855-930-LOVE.
This is KCAA.
Slam the door on FeePay. Forget everything you know about selling online because I'm here to tell you about a new and revolutionary way to buy and sell on the internet. BuySellMakeOffer.com is here to shake up the web. Tired of paying those outrageous fees? You'll never pay a fee with BuySellMakeOffer.com. For a monthly membership package starting at only $7.95, you can list and sell up to 50 items. That would cost you nearly $100 with the other guys. Go right now to BuySellMakeOffer.com and sign up today.
Give yourself the investment of a lifetime. Enjoy this holiday season in a luxury estate home at Charleston Estates, the only new home neighborhood in prestigious South Redlands and smartly priced from the mid-800,000s. Charleston Estates features gourmet kitchens and California rooms that make holiday entertaining even more memorable. Homes reach 4,463 square feet with up to 5 bedrooms. Ask about our discounted HOA dues and move-in incentives, too. Visit MaliaHomes.com for details. That's MaliaHomes.com.
Good afternoon. It's 4:03. I'm Di Rice with the very latest in live local news here on KCAA 1050 AM. After nearly 2 weeks of investigating a double homicide that occurred in Riverside's East Side neighborhood, the Riverside Police Department is seeking the public's help in identifying suspects. Police Department officials released surveillance camera footage yesterday depicting one of the suspects moments before the October 23rd drive-up shooting. Though 2 suspects remain at large, the video only portrays one of them, who is described as an African-American male in his 20s, about 6 feet tall with a medium build. He was last seen wearing a dark-colored hooded sweatshirt and pants. Shooting occurred at 7th Street, just west of Kansas Avenue. Guatemalan immigrants Juan Bartolo, 45, and Domingo Esteban, 26, were killed in the shooting. The men appeared to be random victims targeted only because they were Hispanic. If you have information, you are encouraged to call anonymously 1-800-782-7463. And Riverside activists have threatened to sue the city of Murrieta. And Poorman, if you can listen to this, this is kind of one of those absurd laws. Riverside activists are threatening to sue Murrieta if it doesn't repeal a decorum policy that forbids clapping during the public comments and business item portions of the council meetings. So Tuesday night, one resident used the public comment portion of the city's regular meeting to state the activists' demands and upbraid the council for its silly policy, which asks members of the audience to raise their hands if they agree with something or flash a thumbs up if they disagree. And residents say if the law is not repealed, they will follow up with a lawsuit. What do you think of that? He's not even listening. Inland Empire weather. We are sunny today, high of 75, which I do believe we reached the last hour. Overnight, we'll drop down to about 50 degrees. And then tomorrow, we're warming up to about 79. And by Sunday, some clouds in the sky and 77. Right now, we are, at 71 degrees here in San Bernardino. And checking out your traffic conditions, There is a disabled vehicle on the 15 northbound right before the 10 freeway. It's got the shoulder blocked. And then in Colton, there's an accident blocking the center lane of the 215 northbound just past Barton Road. That is the very latest with news, weather, and traffic on the station that leaves no listener behind, KCAA 1050 AM.
This is the YouTube radio show.
Guess who used to be a
Were you talking to me?
This guy.
The official radio show that features superstars of YouTube.
Those breasts are amazing.
Take something that you can fix your lips into and just suck on it as hard as you can.
I want to make you goddamn cookies, but I don't want to make them right now.
I want you to hit me as hard as you can.
No!
Do it!
Now, here's your host, the Poorman.
Di, I tell you, I am so sorry about not answering you. I guess on a Friday you can only expect half of what remains of my brain, which is probably a stretch in the first place. So I didn't even hear my name. I was so intently looking at Twitter at what was going on with this guy, Greg Hardy, but I apologize to you for coming back with a bang.
Did you hear the story, though?
No, I didn't even hear the story,
These guys,
which is terrible.
Okay, in Marietta, they've been city council leaders have told the members, people who come, do not applaud, do not do that. You cannot clap, like in the comment portion of the council meetings. You can't clap because you approve of something or you like it. You like the idea. You can't do that anymore. So there's some residents who are suing if they don't repeal the law. So,
really?
Yeah, you can't. Woo! Well, I mean, and I'm sure no one does the woo thing. They just clap.
What happens? Do they arrest them then if they clap now, or give them a cite ticket or something like that?
I do not know. It's going through. They're asking them to repeal it first, and if not, these residents are going to file a lawsuit. So we'll see.
But that sounds like a Michael Brown law.
That's what I'm saying, right? Yes, that was my whole thing. Yeah, I think your caller is here.
Okay, hey, well, I got to tell you something real quick. Yeah, go ahead and answer the phone just to ask Melanie to hold on because I want to tell you something else before you put her on, okay? All right, anyway, welcome to the show, you guys. I've been gone for a couple of days. We had one tape rerun, then yesterday Pat Matthews did a great job. In fact, Jay from Moreno Valley was saying, now this guy's good on the air. Pat has always got a great attitude. We talk off the air. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how some people are always positive, whereas others are, in my case, I always sort of battle that the glass half empty philosophy on everything. But I guess while Di is getting the guest ready, are you back yet?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, well, the big news here in New York, and it looks like I'm going to be returning to SoCal maybe for good a week from tomorrow.
Really?
It's looking like that, yeah. So that's not what I wanted to talk to you about, but we can get more into that if people are interested at all. Big news here in New York. Guess who's hosting Saturday Night Live tomorrow night?
I have no idea. Are you?
If I was, I'd fly you here, okay?
All right. Okay, who's hosting? Okay, Donald Trump.
You're a winner.
Okay.
Donald Trump is hosting Saturday Night Live tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And there are demonstrators, I guess, outside of the NBC studios on 50th Street, and they're upset because of his views towards Latinos and things like that, and they think that he shouldn't be allowed to do it. But anyway, it's going to happen. So this guy I met in New York, he's a sound guy. He's been around for 30 years and does sound for a lot of big shows. And he's doing sound today for the day before the Saturday Night Live, where they actually tape segments. So he's doing that. He's worked on Saturday Night Live a lot. And he said, yeah, I'm doing Saturday Night Live tomorrow. I said, and I go, wow, well, Trump's hosting, isn't he? He goes, yeah, absolutely. And I said, have you ever done sound for a shoot involving Donald Trump? And the guy goes, yes, I have. And he goes, Donald Trump is the greatest guy to work for. Like when we're shooting, he's the best.
Really?
And yeah, and you won't have any. I mean, when you hear the story, it's just great. But do you want to take a guess as to why he's great to work with?
Why is he great to work with?
You'll never figure it out.
Okay, so just tell us.
All right. So the guy, these production guys, they're bluntly honest. They'll tell you every story. So this guy says the reason they like working with Donald Trump is it's always a short day on the set. And apparently he does so much TV, so much film work, when he'll do anything, obviously for a buck. He gets on the set, he's so busy, and this guy tells me a story of Donald Trump doing something, a commercial, for one of the most famous directors of all time, a guy named Barry Levinson, who's done... Those of you listening right now, look up Barry Levinson. I can't remember. You can text me if you want some of his great movies. Text me at 949-870-6155. That's my cell phone, if you can name his big movies. So Barry Levinson's a director. Donald Trump's on the set being paid a ton of money. And anyway, apparently Donald Trump is never there for more than 3 or 4 hours. So these production guys love it because they have an 8-hour day, but they're out after 4 hours. So Levinson does a take with Trump, and Donald Trump goes, after this one take, I got to go, Barry. Thanks a lot. I got to leave. And this guy's this famous director. He goes, Donald, we need to shoot this again. We need to shoot it a couple more times to make sure this thing comes out good. And he goes, no, you know what, young man? I have to leave.
Wow.
And I've got to go. So he leaves. But the funny thing is, he says, young man. Levinson at this point is like 65, 70 years old, and this is 20 years ago, and Trump's 50. So he's calling this famous director young man, and he literally walks out of the shoot. And he does that all the time.
Rain Man.
What do you mean, Rain? Oh, he did Rain Man. Right. Yes, he did Rain Man, only a Best Picture. So Trump walks out on him because he's got to go. Isn't that great, though? What a great deal.
That's so funny.
Do you want to know another quick thing about a famous actor I found out?
Sure.
Okay. This is even a better story. So this guy, another guy, is telling me, some guy who does grip work or something, and he's been around for a long time. He says, I got a Robert De Niro story for you. And I go, okay. And he says, yeah, Robert De Niro, a lot of famous actors do commercials that only will air in other countries. Like, you won't see them at all in an American commercial, but they will get a lot of money due to a commercial in another place. So De Niro was given $1 million to do a commercial. It was a 10-hour shoot. That's it, for $1 million. Wow. And this was 20 years ago. So that's really good money.
Right.
So anyway, here's the provision. Okay, De Niro's in New York City. The shoot's in New Jersey. The shoot is 45 minutes drive from New York to New Jersey. But De Niro's provision is, I need to be flown by helicopter and landed at the shoot. Like, he didn't want to take a car for 45 minutes. He had to take a helicopter.
Wow.
Okay, that's not the best part. So he takes his helicopter, a limo takes him to the set. He does his $1 million one-day performance of 10 hours that actually he finishes in 5 hours. So he gets $1 million for 5 hours work. He leaves, the limo driver picks him up, and he's gone. So they're continuing to shoot the commercial, the rest of it without De Niro. And by this time, the whole crew has been there 11 hours shooting a commercial. De Niro left 6 hours ago. All of a sudden, the limo re-shows up on the set, and De Niro is still in this limo 6 hours later, all right?
Really?
It was only a 5-hour shoot. And he was supposed to be flown by helicopter back to New York, which is 45 minutes away, but here he is in the limo 6 hours later. The limo driver is crying. He's so unhappy and upset. He's crying his eyes out because for 6 hours, De Niro has been reaming his ass because he couldn't find the helicopter place. Oh. And then he ended up driving back to New York where De Niro lived, and De Niro would not get out at his house, but had to go be back and do it by helicopter. So eventually they go back to the set. So he's been in the limo 6 hours now. He's back at his home, won't get out. And the limo guy is crying, and De Niro's been reaming him for 6 solid hours because he's so incompetent. And I guess the limo driver got fired, and somebody else Huh?
I just said, okay, go ahead.
So he got fired, and then somebody finally took De Niro to the helipad so he could fly back in the 7th hour after he had finished for a 5-hour shoot for $1 million.
What a divo. Wow.
Both those stories are good, though, huh?
Yeah, they are. Wow, that's crazy. Yep, little power.
Yeah, but would you ever do that? I mean, I would never do the Trump thing. I could see. You know,
I'm busy, gotta go. At least he was not rude. He didn't yell at anybody. He just said, and he called Levinson a young man.
Right, when he was older than
right.
Trump.
Yeah.
but you know, and I mean, so that's okay because at least he showed up and did a few takes. But the De Niro thing is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was given, listen, if somebody offered me $1 million to go and do a shoot, they could have me. Okay, first of all, the shoot, they could put me in pig doo-doo, and I'd roll around with 1,000 mice. I mean, I'd do anything. They could have me hitchhike there. $1 million.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. I'd be nice for years.
Right.
To anyone I met, to anyone, I don't care. Yeah. I'd be like, woo!
Well, our first guest, Melanie Dodaro, is one of the biggest people on LinkedIn. Are you on LinkedIn? I'm on LinkedIn, but I hardly ever use it. Do you ever go on LinkedIn?
I have a profile on there. I don't ever use it.
Yeah, I don't even know what it does. Do you? Have you ever benefited at all from LinkedIn?
No. I don't.
Yeah.
I just, it's something I don't believe in. But maybe Melanie can dissuade us from that, huh?
Yeah, or tell us how. Well, she's obviously made a success at it. So let's bring her on right now. Sorry we took so long to get to you, Melanie. How are you?
I'm fantastic, thanks. How about you?
So when you make $1 million, you have to have a helicopter take you instead of a car for 45 minutes, right? Isn't that the way you do it?
I'm liking that plan, absolutely.
Isn't that insane?
Especially to avoid the New York traffic.
Right. But for $1 million, I'd even sit in the traffic.
Absolutely.
So you, it's funny because your big thing, you're a social media expert, but your big thing is LinkedIn, right? Isn't that's sort of your specialty?
It is, yeah.
And how did this all come about? Where you're from? Are you in Canada? Is that where you're from?
I am. I'm in British Columbia, Canada.
Awesome. I'll tell you what. Hold that thought. We're going to find out how Melanie has become one of the biggest stars of LinkedIn right after we take a break. And so hang in there, Melanie. We'll have some time for you, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
You know, the ocean isn't that far from the IE. Not when we're talking about Ocean Honda of San Juan Capistrano. It is well worth the drive. Great buys on all Honda models from the Fit to the Pilot. You'll get the best deals on wheels from Ocean Honda. And just to sweeten the deal, mention the Poorman and get 3 free oil changes with the purchase or lease of any new Honda. Make the drive down the 5 to Ocean Honda off the Camino Capistrano exit. We'll see you at Ocean Honda. And don't forget to mention the Poorman. Are you starting a business, incorporating, or forming an LLC? Do you have a business but need legal review of contracts or have other legal needs? If so, then please contact attorney Michael Brown. Michael has over 20 years' experience advising small and medium businesses to be successful and avoid costly litigation. Initial consultations are always free. Please contact us at 949-636-8128 or by visiting us at mwb-law.net. This may come as a surprise, but Beatles-orama is in its 15th year of keeping the Beatles alive for a new generation. If you spent any time in the 60s, or if you're smart enough to know it was the coolest era for music, you're going to love us. Just go to BeatlesOrama.com and the player should start right up. We're also available on TuneIn, iTunes, Windows Media, and more. Once you tune in, you'll be hooked. Plus, you can join our Facebook fan club and follow us on Twitter. Be sure to bookmark it. BeatlesOrama.com.
I love it. Jay from Moreno Valley. goes, time for a smoke break. It's 4:20. It is. It's 4:20 exactly in the Inland Empire. Okay, our guest, I've just been chewed out by my producer for ignoring Melanie Dodaro, but I just had to tell those two stories. Melanie, I hope you're not angry with me. I hope you're okay.
Oh, I was entertained listening to them.
Good. We've got a whole hour. So anyway, Melanie Dodaro, am I pronouncing your last name correctly?
You sure are.
Okay. Tell us about yourself and how you are you the most downloaded or the most famous person on LinkedIn? I don't understand LinkedIn, so fill in everybody who doesn't know what LinkedIn's about and where you are with LinkedIn.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. You know, there's a lot of misconceptions about what LinkedIn is, and I think that started back in when they had originally started up in 2003. They were very much a resume site and a site for recruiters to find employees, but that's very much changed over the years, and they've really grown beyond that. They're the number one business social network. So when I was looking at doing social media, it just made sense to me to focus more attention on a network that was strictly for business. I enjoy using Facebook personally and staying in touch with my family and friends and seeing pictures of my, little nephews that my sister posts from time to time. But at the end of the day, it's a little bit harder of a platform to get business results from, especially with Facebook business pages, because Facebook's what I call more of a passive social network. You have to wait for somebody to come to your Facebook page, click that like button, and then you have to hope and pray that Facebook's going to show your posts in the news feed, which they don't 98% of the time. Where with LinkedIn, you have control. You have control to reach out to people. You have control in order to, build relationships, have conversations. And LinkedIn's not for everybody. I mean, the ideal target audience that really benefits the most from LinkedIn is anybody in a business-to-business type environment. So, for companies that sell to other businesses, provide services to other businesses, professional service providers, salespeople, marketers, people like that, it's really, really powerful for. But I love what you guys were talking about before, and you had asked the question, have you seen any results on LinkedIn? And the answer is most people have not, and I get asked that question all the time when I'm at speaking events.
I honestly, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but I've had a LinkedIn account for, I would say, at least 5 years, and I pretty much ignore it because I don't really understand what it can do.
Exactly, and that's the key, is education and helping people understand, is this a good fit for you, for your business, for your career or so forth, and then once they understand whether it is or not, they're going to be much more inclined to deal with it or to work with it. Like, for example, I do a lot of training for sales teams, and sales teams can get some really great benefits out of using LinkedIn because, they're just not getting the same response that they used to get in the old days with cold calls. Most decision makers will not accept cold calls. LinkedIn gives you the opportunity, when used properly, to really start to build relationships with people and, turn those cold calls into warm calls, where you're establishing some, credibility, some rapport. But the problem is that most people don't do anything with their LinkedIn profile. Or many people. I won't say most people, because there's 380 million users of LinkedIn, many of which are active. But, if you're not doing anything with it, you're not going to see results from it. So one of the common mistakes that I see people make with LinkedIn is, they treat it like Facebook. They guard it. And, LinkedIn's your business social network. You shouldn't be posting personal things on it, so you don't need to guard it and protect it. You want to expand your network and grow your network with, targeted connections based on your business or your purpose and reason for using LinkedIn. And then the most important thing is, you don't just accept a connection request or send a connection request and leave it at that. That would be the equivalent to, going to a networking meeting, collecting a handful of business cards, coming home and throwing them in the garbage and never doing anything with them. So the key to actually see success with LinkedIn is to have some, follow-up conversations with new connections. especially if they're targeted new connections based on, your business and your business goals, and moving that conversation forward. One of the big challenges with social media is, a lot of people are like, you can't really sell on social media, unless you've got, minimal priced products or stuff like that, and you're, posting pictures and images on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that. Yeah, they do absolutely get some sales. But from a, more service type perspective, people aren't just buying on social media. You can't just send your sales pitch to people. That doesn't work. But what does work is moving that conversation forward, establishing some value so that you've earned the right for that conversation, and then taking that conversation offline, which is where you actually convert, a prospect, if you will, to a client. Now, that's going to vary for everybody in terms of how they use it. You might not have a reason for using it. You might, not be responsible for anything in terms of, generating business within the radio station. You might not be looking for a job. You might not just see any purpose or use for it, and that's okay. But those who can benefit from it and do it properly can see extreme benefits from it.
Well, yeah, because I'm just thinking in my own case, of course I'd like to grow my entertainment career, but does that happen on LinkedIn? Do like people looking for gigs, as performers, can they use LinkedIn, or is that not really the right place?
The answer to that depends on who the audience is, or who the decision maker is that you're trying to connect with. So if you're able to establish who those decision makers are, in terms of hiring you for, a gig of some sort, and you're able to find them on LinkedIn, then absolutely it can work. Like, for example, I was working with a client recently, and I helped develop, earlier this year, I helped develop a LinkedIn campaign for her. So I rewrote her profile for her, very client-focused based on who she wanted to connect with on LinkedIn and who she wanted to, really attract via LinkedIn. Then I created a lead generation campaign for her on a series of messages that she would send out to people, from the initial connection request to moving that conversation offline, and provided her with a template of, things that she should be doing on a daily and weekly basis. Well, she's a consultant, and she added, in the first 7 months of implementing this, $1.45 million into her business.
Wow.
Just
and are there lots
doing
of
the
stories
LinkedIn
like
campaign.
Are there lots of stories like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it depends, right? Like, if you're selling $10 widgets, well, gosh, how many people do you need to contact on LinkedIn to actually make some money? It might not be the right platform for you, right? But in other cases, it certainly is, especially if you're able to easily identify your ideal client. So, for example, if I was if I had been contacted by somebody who makes and sells jewelry, and they were interested in using LinkedIn, I would be saying to them, how are you going to know who your ideal client is on LinkedIn? You can't just assume that, every single woman likes jewelry, because many don't. I'm an example of one of them. So
you're one of the few.
Yeah.
Di, have you ever met many women that don't like jewelry?
No.
I know it is unusual. I just don't like the feeling of things on my, fingers and wrists, and it just drives me crazy. But
I like the feeling of things. I like the feeling of things, but it doesn't necessarily involve jewelry. Are we both talking at the same time, Di?
Yeah, we were. Sorry.
Okay. No, I was just saying I like the feeling of things, but it doesn't necessarily involve just jewelry.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, we're going to take a break here, but when I come back, I want to talk to you about your own personal success on LinkedIn. And I hear just some insane stuff about how many people you reach. So we're talking to Melanie Dodaro. She is one of the biggest superstars of LinkedIn, LinkedIn, right, Melanie?
Yes.
Wow, I've spelled it correctly. I'm really doing my research. And so we'll come back and talk to her. You guys will be mind blown when you hear how successful this woman is.
Are you starting a business, incorporating, or forming an LLC? Do you have a business but need legal review of contracts or have other legal needs? If so, then please contact attorney Michael Brown. Michael has over 20 years' experience advising small and medium businesses to be successful and avoid costly litigation. Initial consultations are always free. please contact us at 949-636-8128 or by visiting us at mwb-law.net. You know, the ocean isn't that far from the IE. Not when you're talking about Ocean Honda of San Juan Capistrano. It is well worth the drive. Great buys on all Honda models from the Fit to the Pilot. You'll get the best deals on wheels from Ocean Honda. And just to sweeten the deal, mention the Poorman and get a free iPad mini when you sell your car to Ocean Honda. Make the drive down the 5 to Ocean Honda off the Camino Capistrano exit. We'll see you at Ocean Honda. And don't forget to mention the Poorman. Hey everybody, I'm Pat Matthews, Mr. Announcer here on the Poor Man Show, and I'd like to let you know about my services. If you're in the need for voice work, whether it be for commercials, narrations, or even having your personal or business voicemail professionally done, I'm the guy. I promise quick turnaround and great rates. Check out my Facebook page at facebook.com/Pat Matthews Productions, and that's Matthews with 2 T's, or email me at patmatthews@cox.net. I'd love to work with you. Thanks for your time, and you have a great day.
Especially, Di, if you live in Victorville. I can just see you guys exchanging cards. We're just talking off the air about Di's going, there's just no way that LinkedIn will do anything for me. Right, Di?
Well, I don't want to be a naysayer. I mean, if I...
Come on, be honest. Say what you said off the air.
Well, no, I mean... If I worked it right, but Melanie, I was talking about like I've used it for teaching, for real estate, for radio, for all purposes. And
Melanie, she says she's the kind of person, Melanie Dodoro's our guest, who, like you had mentioned before, she throws away the business cards because she gets them from the people that are the same as her, right, Di?
Yeah. Like if you go to, you're at a real estate meeting and you're exchanging business cards, why? You're all realtors. What? I'm going to have you show a house for me? I don't think so.
But you live in Victorville, which is a town of how many people?
Oh, I don't know, 40, 50,000, something like that.
Right,
I mean, it's
in the hottest place in America in the summer, right?
Yeah, it's pretty darn hot. Not the hottest place.
It's right up there next to Barstow or Death Valley.
Well, it's okay. It's not Death Valley. It's not Death Valley. Yeah, Death Valley is the hottest place for sure. Hence the name. But anyway.
Anyway, Melanie Dodoro. So we just both have a tough time understanding LinkedIn. But before we get into that, you obviously understand it, and as I've heard, apparently you reach how many people with your Melanie Dodoro page on LinkedIn?
LinkedIn's got an interesting way of basically calculating the network size. So you've got your first level connections, so those are all the people that you're directly connected to. But your network actually consists of people that are part of your first, second, and third degree network. So let's say, for example, you and I were connected on LinkedIn rather, and all your connections that aren't connected to me become my second level connections. So when you do the math of the network size, my network exceeds 25 million.
But you're only allowed to have 25,000 connections, is that right?
You're allowed to have 30,000 connections. Basically, they say 30,000 lifetime connections. But and most people will never reach that level. But if you do and you want to have more, you can send LinkedIn a support request, and I believe they add about 500 at a time, so that you can continue to connect with some people that you meet in the future.
Right, I saw you, but you only have, I guess, 25,308. Did you cut it off? Is that
No. I always, just like with Facebook and with LinkedIn, I always make sure that I leave availability to accept new connection requests.
And are you really selective who you accept?
I am, yeah. So basically, I mean, there's 3 types of people that use LinkedIn in terms of, how
before you get into that, I just want to. So you reach 30 million people, right?
Just over 25 million.
And apparently, you get paid a considerable amount of money when you put a message. I don't know how it's done. I've heard that you can make $30,000 for putting out a message to those 25 million people for one message. Is that true?
Are you referring to like a company, a brand paying for or something like that? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. I didn't know it specifically, but I heard that sometimes you can post something on your LinkedIn account, and somebody will pay you $25,000 or $30,000 to do that.
It hasn't happened to me yet, but it's absolutely possible.
But I heard though that you get paid though to do that sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Whether it's Twitter or LinkedIn, it depends on the which network is going to be ideal for a brand or a company. But yes, that's absolutely something that I've done and others do on a regular basis to if they've got a message that's going to resonate with their target base that they've got, their audience, their community.
Well, how much? Give me a ballpark figure. What's like a really good price you've been paid to put a message out within your reach of 25 million people? I know I'm getting personal, but on the other hand, a lot of us who don't understand LinkedIn, we'd like to know, and I think it would help us to understand how profitable it can be.
Well, that's not where people make money on LinkedIn. Where people really make money on LinkedIn is in terms of building relationships with their target audience and moving those conversations, offline. As I mentioned earlier, it really depends. It's how each person is going to use it is going to depend on their strategy, their business, their target audience, their goals, and so forth. So when I'm working with clients, I'm helping them come up with that and figuring out, who are they trying to target, how are they going to target them, what's going to be of interest to them. And like I said, with that, that case study of that example of that woman that I worked with earlier this year, that's a consultant, she has generated $1.45 million. That's not by posting other people's stuff. That's by posting her own stuff.
Right, but again, I'm just curious. I mean, when you post something, aside from we get the idea that people need to network to make the money on LinkedIn. But I'm just curious how much you could make if you put out a statement, or businesses want you to say something to reach your 25 million. Is that something you can answer, or are you not comfortable to answer that?
Well, it depends. It really depends because one message it could be a company reaching out and asking for one message. It could be them asking to write a blog post in LinkedIn Publisher along with a series of status updates. So the answer is it depends. It really depends on what they're looking for.
You're not going to give me a specific, are you?
No, I'm not.
I'm trying, man. You can tell I'm efforting. You're good. You're okay. All right, I'll leave you alone on that. How can people? Okay, so how can people reach you if they need some consulting done for LinkedIn and their businesses? How do they reach you?
Yeah, my website is topdogsocialmedia.com. topdogsocialmedia.com. And I'm also the author of The LinkedIn Code. It's a book that's available on Amazon.
Okay, so topdogmedia.com is the best way to reach you?
Social media, topdogsocialmedia.com.
Okay, and your LinkedIn account is just Melanie Dodaro, right?
That's right.
Okay. Well, hey, thanks for being on. I really appreciated that, and it's fascinating what you're doing. I wish I understood it better, but if anybody wants to reach Melanie, I'm sure you will help them to understand that, right?
Oh, absolutely. My blog has got a resource of content and information that will really help people understand how they can actually benefit from LinkedIn, what are some of the things that they want to be doing, and what are some of the benefits they can expect to receive from that. So there's lots of great content on there.
Okay, thanks, Melanie.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Okay, we'll be back in just a moment with more of the YouTube radio show.
Are you starting a business, incorporating, or forming an LLC? Do you have a business but need legal review of contracts or have other legal needs? If so, then please contact attorney Michael Brown. Michael has over 20 years' experience advising small and medium businesses to be successful and avoid costly litigation. Initial consultations are always free. Please contact us at 949-636-8128 or by visiting us at mwb-law.net. This may come as a surprise, but Beatles-orama is in its 15th year of keeping the Beatles alive for a new generation. If you spent any time in the 60s, or if you're smart enough to know it was the coolest era for music, you're going to love us. Just go to BeatlesOrama.com and the player should start right up. We're also available on TuneIn, iTunes, Windows Media, and more. Once you tune in, you'll be hooked. Plus, you can join our Facebook fan club and follow us on Twitter. Be sure to bookmark it. BeatlesOrama.com. You know, the ocean isn't that far from the IE. Not when we're talking about Ocean Honda of San Juan Capistrano. It is well worth the drive. Great buys on all Honda models from the Fit to the Pilot. You'll get the best deals on wheels from Ocean Honda. And just to sweeten the deal, mention the Poorman and get 3 free oil changes with the purchase or lease of any new Honda. Make the drive down the 5 to Ocean Honda off the Camino Capistrano exit. We'll see you at Ocean Honda. And don't forget to mention the Poorman.
Isn't this song great? I like to. I hope we can play it. Let's see. We play it into breaks and out of breaks. So we hear it about 10 times a day. The reason I want to do it is I want you people, by the time you've listened to the show about 4 or 5 times, to go out of your minds, and you will succeed. Our little jingle for the YouTube radio show, it reminds me of like a Mario game. And I'm not a gamer, but that's kind of what it reminds me of. So obnoxious.
It's really good when you hear it at first, but then time after time after time again, it does get a little obnoxious.
You know, I'm sorry. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know about. Listen, I'm probably very naive, but I have trouble when our guests won't answer honestly what they make. I mean, we put on these YouTube people. We're the YouTube radio show. It's our job to figure out how much these guys are making, and none of them will mention what they make. And we're putting on people that nobody's ever heard of, and I think they got to be honest. They got to come clean, because we're doing them a favor by putting them on, giving them radio exposure. And I kept asking her what she makes, and she kept going beating around the bush. So the thing is, Di, is this woman really making money? I couldn't confront her anymore on the air.
Well, I think people find that is a personal question. It's a very personal question, because then people are going to want to hang around them because they have all this money. And so I think...
Or not.
Well, and that's a possibility as well. But, all growing up and still to this day, I have no idea how much money my dad has ever made. He would never tell me. He said, that's personal. I would never tell you.
Same with my parents. They don't tell me either, but they want to know every bit of money I've made, which is, as they have to support me half the time.
That's different. Okay, so if your dad's not going to be honest with you about something like that or tell you, why would you expect a virtual stranger to?
Because they're promoting their business on a radio show. And obviously she's going on there to try to get people to be an advisor. She wants to be an advisor, and she might be a really good advisor. But okay, what pops into my head is she making money with her own LinkedIn account and networking, or is she holding her? You see, I really have problems with some of these so-called experts in marketing or media and all this other stuff. Or is she trying to sell her service where she says she's a social media expert? I mean, the woman has 47 subscribers on YouTube.
But
I have 198, and we just started 2 months ago, and ours is a disaster, our YouTube, so far. So yes, be honest. At least give us a ballpark figure. I don't think that's wrong. I think because then it's not going to be a very interesting interview. I mean, what are we doing? Just
not everyone cares about the money so much. I mean,
yes, they do.
It's interesting. Okay. All right. Say she goes on there and she gives you some outlandish figure, and you're not going to believe it anyway, or maybe you do. You still don't know if she's telling the truth.
But it makes me feel better if she says something rather than saying we have 3 types of people who stroke themselves to LinkedIn.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I wanted to hear that part of the interview.
I know you did, but nobody else did. Everybody else wanted to move on.
But this is a good thing. Is revealing how much money you make, is that a personal thing?
Look, I'll throw this out. You're right. It is a personal thing. Like if I asked you how much you make at KCAA, you're not going to tell me.
No, I'm not. It's none of your damn business. It's simple. It's simple.
You want to be on this show anymore and be tortured by me? You're going, please take me off. I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah, no, it's none of your business. It's nobody's business. So, I mean, I wouldn't tell you.
Okay.
But this makes for a good discussion. I mean, do you have a problem? I'm talking to the listener. Does the listener have a problem telling people how much they make? I have met so many people who lie about how much they make. I mean, I had neighbors next door who were sitting there saying that, oh, I make, $100,000 a year. And they told my son that. I said, yeah, if he made that kind of money, he'd have a house on the other side of the street, on the lake, and he'd have a boat, and he wouldn't be renting his house. I mean, come on.
In a tract home in Victorville.
It's not it's a HOA. It is a nice neighborhood. But still, the houses aren't all equal in value. Some are a lot less expensive. Some are a lot older. Some are a lot newer. I mean, so it's you still have a variety of people there. But I don't like, I mean, there was a guy behind it telling us he was making like, I think $7-8 grand a week. It's like, why are you renting your house? We know the people who own it. Come on.
But the thing is that some people, have you ever asked somebody who works in a bank what the people look like who have the most money?
Yeah, they dress in jeans and T-shirts, I'm sure. But
some of them absolutely look homeless. And they say others who dress to the hilt are broke. But look at Donald Trump, for instance. Let's go back to him. Isn't he pretty open about how much money he makes?
Who was that?
Donald Trump.
Yeah, he's honest. But, he makes the millions anyway. I mean, you do. You just know it.
Yeah,
I mean, with everything that he's done and everything that he has. So Todd wants to weigh in on this.
Okay, let's go to Todd. I know Todd's going to, for once, Todd and I are going to agree. Yeah. Right, Todd?
Yeah, we agree. I don't even know why you have people on this on your show, because it's very obvious from the start what they're going to do. They're going to be boring, they're going to promote themselves, and they're not going to be giving you any information that's going to be radio worthy. If you're giving them free advertising, you might as well at least charge these people if you're going to give them free infomercials. Everything you say is correct.
Me and Mr. Announcer discussed this before I went on. I was in a terrible mood. 30 minutes before going on, I'm going, why is this woman coming on? I don't understand it. I thought if she was truly the biggest person on LinkedIn, would you agree, Todd, then it would be worth it?
If she had something interesting to even say about it. If it's just some person who's big on LinkedIn who makes a lot of money, it's still not that interesting. Just making money is not interesting. You could have a lot of people on the show who make money who would be boring and put you to sleep. And this woman did seem like a big phony. She just talks in abstract terms and just sells these social media packages to people and tries to sell books on Amazon. Obviously...
Did you find her interesting?
Not at all. Her voice was so monotone too. For the first word she uttered, I'm like, this is going to be brutal. I actually turned it off for a little bit and came back. Because I really did. I could tell there was going to be nothing interesting about it. It was going to be an infomercial. And at least when I turned her back on, it was the most interesting part where you were trying to get her nailed down to state a number on hypothetically how much one could make by promoting on LinkedIn. And of course she wouldn't answer that and gave just non-answers over and over and over again. But what would have been even more interesting would have been if you said the things you're saying right now to her, then you would have had a fight on the radio. That would have been great.
Right. I probably should have done that. But I think she would have not had a fight. I think she would have gone around it.
Yeah, and also there's a guy on some other kind of social media promoter, some guy from Canada who was promoting YouTube stars, and then he had on some girl who's writing a magazine or a book. That was really boring too. That was another infomercial. Basically, anyone who comes on...
Let me. I'll tell you what. Hang on, and Mike from Menifee is coming back. I'm going to explain to you our relationship with that guy. Okay? Do you want to hold on for a moment?
Sure.
Okay. So we'll be right back with more of the YouTube radio show.
Are you starting a business, incorporating, or forming an LLC? Do you have a business but need legal review of contracts or have other legal needs? If so, then please contact attorney Michael Brown. Michael has over 20 years' experience advising small and medium businesses to be successful and avoid costly litigation. Initial consultations are always free. Please contact us at 949-636-8128 or by visiting us at mwb-law.net. This may come as a surprise, but Beatles-orama is in its 15th year of keeping the Beatles alive for a new generation. If you spent any time in the 60s, or if you're smart enough to know it was the coolest era for music, you're going to love us. Just go to BeatlesOrama.com and the player should start right up. We're also available on TuneIn, iTunes, Windows Media, and more. Once you tune in, you'll be hooked. Plus, you can join our Facebook fan club and follow us on Twitter. Be sure to bookmark it. BeatlesOrama.com. You know, the ocean isn't that far from the IE. Not when we're talking about Ocean Honda of San Juan Capistrano. It is well worth the drive. Great buys on all Honda models from the Fit to the Pilot. You'll get the best deals on wheels from Ocean Honda. And just to sweeten the deal, mention the Poorman and get 3 free oil changes with the purchase or lease of any new Honda. Make the drive down the 5 to Ocean Honda off the Camino Capistrano exit. We'll see you at Ocean Honda. And don't forget to mention the Poorman.
Okay, so we're back here. Todd is on the line, and Mike from Menifee, I'll get right to you. Todd, so let me explain my relationship with the guy who was on the other day who was a snooze-a-thon. I agree. I mean, Pat and I, my producer, get into all these arguments because Pat is easier than I am. I am like thinking, okay, how can I possibly get this show just kicking ass? So putting him on to promote his business and stuff like that, he's getting us YouTube guests. Now, this woman today was not a YouTube guest, but I was told she was one of the most powerful people on LinkedIn. And the truth is, like Todd's saying, this woman is just trying to sell the fact she's a social media expert and is just telling everybody she is. And that's how I'm not buying it.
Yeah, I'm not either, for sure. So basically that Canadian guy who was promoting himself, he's getting you guests on here, so I guess this is some sort of like trade where he gets to promote himself and he gets you guests in exchange.
No, it's not that sophisticated. We can end it anytime we want, but he was going to get us some big YouTubers. Like, even if you don't like some of these YouTubers that are on, the fact they have gigantic followings, you can't discredit that whether you're into it or not. But in this case, we're getting him, and then Lauren, the other guest who had that trending magazine, she has very few followers on YouTube. She has 50,000 Twitter followers, which is good. And I thought she was at least okay. But now I mean, if the guy has somebody else that he works with that has 1 million followers on YouTube, who gets a lot of money, and that person isn't being put on yet. And I think if we're going to do the YouTube format, which, you know, we did it years ago online when we did Love Chat, and we had a lot of, I think it could have developed into a big thing where we could have been interviewing the real YouTube stars or people that at least have 100,000, 200,000 followers. But it's important that we get people that really do have big followings, and we just don't settle for, okay, these are clients of his that he's putting on. Like, he's got about 75 to 100 clients, and there's nothing wrong with that because he's
Well, the problem is
I
I think you're kind of being used here in a way because he thinks by having them on your show that they're getting their money's worth for whatever they're paying him. Like, oh, wow, we get on a radio show. But does this really become something that's interesting for the listener? And something I have a problem with this format is, okay, let's say you get some big stars like these Minecraft guys you had on before and they have a lot of followers. Fine. Then you're going for an audience who's like 10 to 13 years old. But then if you go the next day and have someone on who's promoting their social media business who are like 50 years old, the 10-year-olds aren't going to want to hear this. And if vice versa, people who might want to hear the older people are never going to want to hear about Minecraft. It jumps all over the place. There's no consistency. And I also don't even necessarily believe this format will work because AM radio and radio in general, just that doesn't really match up with a typical YouTube audience who doesn't listen to much radio. Love Chat worked because it was the same medium. These people watched videos online, and then they were watching these same people in interviews online, and there was a chat room where everybody could interact. That was actually a good idea, and that's why you got some success with that. But this is completely different, and that's why you're getting very little response. And that's one of the reasons I'm against this format, not just because I don't find it entertaining personally, but I don't think there's a single person who could have listened to every one of these episodes and would have found something interesting, because it's just all over the place who it's appealing to. You got to, before you put someone on, you have to say, does this appeal to my audience? And if the answer is yes, put them on. If the answer is no, no matter how successful they are or how famous they might be, you don't want to put them on. For example, if my mom and dad
you know what? Listen,
radio,
I got to go to Mike from Menifee, but I get your point. Okay, thanks, Todd. Seriously, we've only got 3 minutes left. Thanks a lot, Todd. Okay, you can move on, Di.
All right.
I agree with Todd with everything he's saying, and that's obviously the big problem is how do you convert this to really working on the radio, and it hasn't yet.
Right.
Okay, Mike from Menifee, go ahead. You got about 3 minutes.
Well, as a member of your, at least I listen to you at least part of the time, or I try to. As a member of your audience, I'd like to make a suggestion of a YouTube personality I really enjoy. His name is Harry Partridge, and he makes these very funny, irreverent cartoons on YouTube for YouTube. He has over 738 followers, and he's had over 136 million views.
How many followers?
738 subscribers.
That's not very many. You mean 738,000?
Yeah. Harry Partridge.
Oh, you said 738. It's 738,000 subscribers.
Okay, Mike. My question is, do you care? Do you want to know, if he's on this show, do you want to know how much money he makes?
Well, if he's promoting something on YouTube and he's trying to sell something to somebody, then yeah. Well, you can't ask it from him directly to get a straight answer. So I think you should vet his information, like from a YouTube personality who's.
Do you think that woman who was on should have said what she was making, or at least given us a ballpark figure?
Well, she's never going to tell you. You have to vet it by looking on the internet. I'll be honest with you, I wasn't really listening to that part of the show, but you want to make sure.
When did you find the show interesting? Once she was off?
Yes, and and I just want to say something about Di. Where you live is not my business, but about HOAs in general. Why do people put up with living in an HOA?
Believe me, Mike, it's one of the biggest mistakes I've made in my life.
What is an HOA? I don't even know.
Homeowners Association.
What? Like my dad lives I live with mom and dad in their basement. But the neighborhood they live in, they have so many rules. If you don't water the lawn once a week, if you don't make everything, you don't paint your house a certain way.
I know. There's cops that drive around, and they monitor the grass if it's too tall or whatever. I get you. No, one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made.
Okay, but going back to the topic Di was saying about, I don't expect one way or the other for them to tell you how much they make. If you're trying to buy a product from somebody and they're giving you some sort of get-rich-quick scheme, then yeah, you should figure out how much they make. If it's like you can be a millionaire overnight, or you can make a lot of money by doing what I did. And
I got to tell you, my buddy, that one of my closest friends, he makes a lot of money. He's in their hook, line, and sinker for going to these conferences. He's in one right now in Colorado, where for a week he pays thousands and thousands of dollars, and he goes, "Oh, this person's a marketing genius," and I'm thinking, that person is probably just, pulling a fast one. I don't know why.
Oh yeah, Poorman, look up Harry Partridge on YouTube. Look up Dr. B's video.
All right.
And let's say goodbye, guys.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Everybody have a great weekend. I'm glad we got to the bottom of what I go through every day, because honestly, it's so annoying.
This is KCAA Loma Linda, the station that leaves no listener behind. CNBC News is next, a courtesy of buysellmakeoffer.com, where you can post a video about items you have for sale. Sign up now. It's free.
I'm John Lesher, CNBC Radio. The Dow rose 47 points and Nasdaq added 19. Stocks posted their sixth straight week of gains, the longest weekly winning streak of the year. Investors are worried the 271,000 new jobs that U.S. employers created in October will encourage the Fed to begin raising interest rates next month. More people are now working full-time since before the recession began in 2007, and there are fewer underemployed people. There are also fewer people working at ESPN, but Disney was up 2.5%.